The 4% rule is dead. I know, every financial guru for the last 30 years has sworn by it. Retire with $1 million, withdraw $40,000 in your first year, adjust for inflation, and you'll never run out of money. It sounds so clean, so simple, so safe. But here's the problem. That rule was invented in 1994 based on data from the 1920s to the 1990s. Interest rates were different. Bond yields were different. Life expectancies were different. And most importantly, the stock market valuation, the Shiller-Cape ratio, was under 20 when the rule was created. Today, it's over 30. That changes everything. If you stay until the end of this video, you'll learn the new safe withdrawal rates for 2026 and beyond, backed by the latest research from Morningstar, Vanguard, and the Trinity study updates. I'll give you 4 different rates, depending on your age, portfolio, and risk tolerance. And I'll show you exactly how to withdraw money in retirement without running out, even if you plan to retire early at 50 or 55. My name is your name, and today we're going to save you from the 4% rule trap. Before we start, let me define what the 4% rule actually is. In 1994, financial advisor Bill Bengen published a study showing that a retiree with a portfolio of 50% stocks and 50% bonds could withdraw 4% of the initial portfolio value in the first year. Then adjust that dollar amount for inflation each subsequent year and have a 95% chance of not running out of money over 30 years. That became the gold standard. The Trinity study in 1998 confirmed it. For decades, it was the rule, but here's the dirty secret. Bengen himself has said the 4% rule is too conservative for many people, and he's updated his recommendations multiple times. More importantly, the economic environment of 2026 is radically different from 1994. Interest rates on bonds are higher now, around 4% to 5% for high-quality bonds, which is actually good for retirees. But stock valuations are much higher, which means expected future returns are lower. Vanguard's 2025 economic outlook predicted U.S. stock returns of 4% to 6% over the next decade, compared to the historical 10%. That's a massive difference. Let me show you the math. If you have a $1 million portfolio, the 4% rule gives you $40,000 in year 1. If you earn 7% real returns, that's fine. But if you only earn 4% real returns, which is what many experts predict for the next decade, then withdrawing 4% means you're barely covering growth. If you have a sequence of bad returns early in retirement, what's called sequence of returns risk, your portfolio could be decimated. Let me give you a real example. Retire in 2000 with $1 million, follow the 4% rule, and by 2003, after 3 years of market declines, your portfolio would have dropped to about $600,000. Then the recovery starts, but you're withdrawing from a much smaller base. By 2010, you'd be at risk of running out before 30 years. That's exactly what happened to many early 2000s retirees. The 4% rule failed for them. So what's the new safe withdrawal rate for 2026? The answer is not one number. It depends on your age, your portfolio, your risk tolerance, and whether you have flexibility to cut spending. Let me give you 4 different rates, from conservative to aggressive. The conservative rate, 3.3%. Morningstar, one of the leading independent research firms, updates its safe withdrawal rate annually. In late 2025, they recommended a starting withdrawal rate of 3.3% for a 30-year retirement using a 50-50 stock bond portfolio. That's down from 4% because of high stock valuations and lower expected returns. For a $1 million portfolio, that's $33,000 in year 1. At 3.3%, the success rate is about 90% over 30 years, not 95%, but still high. This rate is for retirees who want a high degree of safety and have little flexibility to cut spending. Asterisk the moderate rate, 3.7%, using a more flexible withdrawal strategy where you skip inflation adjustments in down years. Morningstar found that a 3.7% initial withdrawal rate has a 90% success rate. This is my recommended starting point for most early retirees. For $1 million, that's $37,000. The key is that you only increase your withdrawal for inflation in years when the portfolio grows. If the portfolio drops, you keep your withdrawal flat. This dynamic approach significantly improves success rates. Many retirement researchers, including Bengen, now recommend this flexible strategy. The aggressive rate, 4.2%. Asterisk if you're willing to adjust spending down in bad years, say cut 10% when the market drops more than 20%, you can start at 4.2%. This gives you $42,000 on $1 million. The trade-off is that you might need to tighten your belt during recessions. For early retirees with some discretionary spending, this is reasonable. But if you're already living lean, stick with the moderate rate. The early retiree rate, 50-plus years, 2.5% to 3.0%. If you plan to retire at 50 and need your money to last 40 or 50 years, the safe withdrawal rate drops significantly. Using the same Morningstar data, a 50-year retirement might only support a 2.5% to 3.0% initial withdrawal rate. On $1 million, that's $25,000 to $30,000. That's much lower. But here's the good news early. Retirees can also use part-time work, Social Security later, or a rising equity glide path to boost their safe withdrawal rate. We'll get to those strategies. Now, let me address the controversy head-on. Some financial YouTubers claim the 4% rule is still safe because the market always recovers. They point to history and say, if you retired in 1929, 4% still worked. And it's true, Bengen's original study included 1929. But that was with lower valuations and higher dividend yields. Dividends in the 1930s were 5% to 8% annually. Today, the S&P 500 dividend yield is about 1.3%. That's a huge difference. You can't compare apples to oranges. Also, retirees today are living longer. A 65-year-old in 1994 had a life expectancy of about 17 more years. A 65-year-old today has a life expectancy of about 20 more years. That's 3 extra years of withdrawals. So the 4% rule is too aggressive for today's conditions. Let me give you the data. In 2025, Vanguard's research showed that a 4% withdrawal rate had a 73% success rate over 30 years, not 95%. A 3.5% rate had an 89% success rate. A 3% rate had a 98% success rate. That's using their capital markets assumptions for the next decade. So the safe rate is somewhere between 3% and 3.5%. I'll split the difference at 3.3% for most people. But here's where it gets interesting for early retirees. If you retire at 50, you might have 40 to 50 years of retirement. That's a long time. The 4% rule was designed for 30 years. For 40 years, the safe rate drops to about 3% to 3.3%. For 50 years, it drops to 7% to 3%. However, early retirees have a secret weapon, Social Security. If you retire at 50, you won't get Social Security until 62 to 67. That means you need to bridge the gap. Once Social Security starts, your required withdrawal rate from your portfolio drops. So the effective safe withdrawal rate for an early retiree can be higher than the 30-year rate if you account for Social Security. Let me run a real example. You're 50, have $1 million, and need $40,000 per year until age 67, when Social Security will pay you $20,000 per year. From 50 to 67, you need $40,000 per year from your portfolio. That's $680,000 total. From 67 onward, you need only $20,000 per year from your portfolio. Using a 3.5% withdrawal rate after 67, you would need about $570,000 at that time. Total needed $680,000 plus $570,000, $25 million. But you only have $1 million. So you need to withdraw less, or work longer, or get a higher return. With a 4% return on your portfolio, you might just make it, but it's tight. This is why many early retirees aim for a 3% rate from the start, or they save more. Now, let me give you 5 strategies to improve your safe withdrawal rate, especially for early retirees. Strategy 1. The Rising Equity Glide Path. This strategy, popularized by Michael Kitces and Wade Pfau, suggests that early retirees should start with a lower stock allocation, say 30% to 40%, and increase it over time to 70% or 80%. Why? Because the worst sequence of returns often happens in the first 10 years of retirement. If you start with more bonds, you protect your portfolio from a market crash. Then, if the market does well, you can increase your stock allocation to capture growth. This strategy has been shown to increase the safe withdrawal rate by 0.5% to 1.0%. So a 3% rate could become 3.8% or even 4.3%. Dynamic spending. Don't blindly adjust for inflation. The 4% rule says you must increase your withdrawal by inflation every year, regardless of market performance. That's dumb. Instead, in years when your portfolio drops, hold your withdrawal flat. In years when it rises, increase by inflation or even a little more to catch up. This simple tweak increases the success rate dramatically. For example, Vanguard found that a 4% withdrawal with dynamic spending had a 90% success rate compared to 73% with fixed inflation adjustments. That's a huge difference. Strategy 3. Use a bucket strategy. Divide your portfolio into 3 buckets. Bucket 1. 2 to 3 years of living expenses in cash or short-term bonds. Bucket 2. 5 to 7 years of expenses in intermediate bonds. Bucket 3. Everything else in stocks. Each year, refill Bucket 1 from Bucket 2 and refill Bucket 2 from Bucket 3 when stocks are up. When stocks are down, you skip refilling Bucket 2 and let the cash and bonds carry you through. This mental accounting helps you avoid selling stocks at a loss. Many retirees find it easier than rebalancing. And it works. Research shows bucket strategies can add 0.5% to your safe withdrawal rate. Strategy 4. Delay Social Security to age 70. Asterisk. For every year you delay Social Security past your full retirement age, your benefit increases by about 8%. If you can afford to wait until 70, you'll lock in a much higher guaranteed inflation-adjusted income for life. That means you can withdraw less from your portfolio in later years, which allows you to withdraw more in early retirement. This is a powerful strategy for early retirees. If you retire at 50, you can use your portfolio to bridge 20 years until age 70. Then Social Security covers most of your expenses, and your portfolio only needs to cover the gap. The math works out better than starting Social Security early. Strategy 5. Use a variable percentage withdrawal, like the VPW method. The VPW method, developed by the Bogleheads community, adjusts your withdrawal each year based on your age and portfolio balance. It never takes too much because the percentage is based on how many years you have left. The downside is that your income fluctuates with the market. The upside is that you never run out of money. By definition, you're only withdrawing a percentage of what remains. For early retirees who can tolerate some income variability, VPW is excellent, and you can combine it with a floor of guaranteed income from Social Security or a small annuity. Now, let me give you a concrete example that ties all this together. Meet Lisa and Mark. They're 50 years old, both retired early. They have a $1.2 million portfolio. They want to know how much they can safely withdraw. First, they use a 3.5% initial withdrawal rate, which is $42,000 per year. That's between conservative and moderate. They plan to use dynamic spending. If the market drops more than 20% in any year, they hold their withdrawal flat instead of adjusting for inflation. If the market rises, they increase by 3% second. They structure their portfolio with a rising equity glide path. At age 50, they have 40% stocks, 60% bonds. Each year, they increase stocks by 2% until they reach 70% stocks at age 65. This protects them from early sequence risk. Third, they use a bucket strategy. They keep $100,000 in a high-yield savings account that's 2.5 years of expenses. The rest is in a balanced portfolio. Each year, they replenish the cash bucket from bond sales and bonds from stock sales only when stocks are up. Fourth, they delay Social Security until 70. At full retirement age of 67, they'd get $30,000 combined. By delaying to 70, they'll get about $38,000. That covers most of their expenses. From 50 to 70, they need to withdraw $42,000 per year from their portfolio. That's $840,000 over 20 years. But their portfolio is growing. At a 5% return after 20 years, their $1.2 million portfolio would still have about $1 million left, even after withdrawals. Then Social Security kicks in, and they reduce their withdrawals to $4,000 per year, just to cover extras.
Their portfolio continues to grow.
They never run out. That's the power of using multiple strategies together. The 4% rule alone would have told them to withdraw $48,000 per year, and they might have been fine. But with their dynamic, bucketed, delayed Social Security approach, they're even safer and can actually withdraw more over time. Now let me address the biggest mistake I see early retirees make. They assume their expenses will stay the same for 40 years. That's almost never true. In early retirement, you might travel, take up expensive hobbies, or help your kids. Later, you might slow down, spend less on travel, but more on healthcare. You need to build in flexibility. The best way is to have a discretionary spending bucket. Essentials: housing, food, utilities, insurance, maybe 60% of your budget. Discretionary: travel, dining out, gifts, hobbies, 40%. In bad years, you cut the discretionary spending to zero. That alone can increase your safe withdrawal rate by 1% or more. Because you're not forced to sell stocks at a loss. Another mistake: ignoring taxes. Withdrawals from traditional 401 NIS and IRAs are taxed as ordinary income. If you withdraw $50,000, you might pay $5,000 to $10,000 in taxes, depending on your bracket. That means you need to withdraw more to cover the tax. Or better, use a mix of Roth, traditional, and taxable accounts to manage your tax bracket. I covered this in Script 6. Go watch it if you haven't. So what's the new safe withdrawal rate for you in 2026? Here's a simple decision tree. If you are retiring at 65 or older with a 30-year time horizon and you want a 90% success rate, use 3.5% with dynamic spending. If you want a 95% success rate, use 3.0%. If you are retiring at 60 to 65 with a 30-35 year horizon, use 3.3% to 3.5% with a rising equity glide path. If you are retiring at 50 to 60 with a 40-year horizon, use 3.0% to 3.3% with dynamic spending, a bucket strategy, and delayed Social Security. If you are retiring at 50 or earlier with a 50-year horizon, use 2.8% to 0%. Plus, consider part-time work or a side hustle during the first decade to reduce sequence risk. Let me give you the specific numbers from the 2025 Morningstar and Vanguard studies. Morningstar's 2025 Safe Withdrawal Report, which they update every December, recommended a 3.3% starting rate for a 50-50 portfolio for a 30-year retirement. Vanguard's 2026 Outlook estimated that a 4% rate had a 73% success rate, 3.5% had 89%, and 3% had 98%. I'm using those numbers now. I can hear the objections. But Bill Bengen himself said in 2024 that 4.7% might be safe now because bonds are paying more. That's true. Bengen updated his number. But he uses a different methodology. He assumes you can adjust spending down if needed. And he also acknowledges that his 4.7% is for a 50-50 portfolio with a very long time horizon. But many other experts disagree. I'm giving you the consensus from multiple sources. The conservative approach is 3.3%. The aggressive approach is 4% if you're flexible. You decide. Let me tell you a real story about a viewer who almost got it wrong. A man named Robert retired at 62 in 2021 with $900,000. He followed the 4% rule, withdrew $36,000 in his first year. Then 2022 happened, the market dropped 20%. He didn't adjust. He kept withdrawing $36,000 plus inflation, which was $36,700 in year 2. By end of 2023, his portfolio had dropped to $700. Zoo. He panicked and came to me. I told him to reduce his withdrawal to $30,000, get a part-time job for 2 years, and switch to a rising equity glide path. He did. By 2025, his portfolio was back to $850,000. He's now on track to last 30 years, but if he had stuck with 4%, he would have been in real trouble. The 4% rule almost broke him. You can learn from Robert's mistake. Don't blindly follow a rule from 1994. Use the new science. Now, here's your actionable step-by-step plan for today. Step 1. Calculate your expected annual expenses in retirement. Be honest. Separate essential and discretionary. Step 2. Calculate your guaranteed income, Social Security, pensions, annuities. Use the SSA.gov calculator for benefits at different claiming ages. Step 3. Subtract guaranteed income from essential expenses. The remainder must come from your portfolio. Use a safe withdrawal rate from the decision tree above. For most early retirees, start with 3.2%. Step 4. Multiply your needed annual portfolio withdrawal by 25 for a 4% rate, by 30 for a 3.3% rate, by 33 for a 3% rate. That's your target portfolio size. For example, if you need $30,000 from your portfolio, at 3.3% you need $909. At 3% you need $1,000. Step 5. Compare your target to your current savings. If you're short, increase savings, work longer, or reduce expenses. Step 6. Build a withdrawal plan. Write down which accounts will you withdraw from each year, how will you rebalance, how will you handle market downturns. Put it on paper. 7. Stress test your plan. Use a free tool like FireCalc or C4ism. Enter your numbers and see the historical success rate for different withdrawal strategies. If you get below 90% success, adjust now. Let me leave you with a final thought. The 4% rule isn't dead, it's just retired. It served us well for 30 years, but markets change, and we must change with them. The new safe withdrawal rates are lower, but that doesn't mean you can't retire comfortably. It means you need to save a bit more, work a bit longer, or be more flexible, and that's okay. The goal of retirement is not to die with the most money, it's to live well without fear. A 3.3% withdrawal gives you that peace of mind. Comment below with your target safe withdrawal rate. Are you a 3% person or a 4% person? I'll reply to the first 50 comments. If this video helped you rethink retirement planning, hit that like button. It helps others find this critical update. Subscribe and turn on notifications. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to build a $500 a month dividend portfolio from scratch, even with just $50 to start. That one is for the income-focused investors. You don't want to miss it. The 4% rule got you into the ballpark. The new rules get you home safely. Now go plan your retirement with confidence. I'll see you in the next video.